Hello everybody and welcome back to this MSc Live. Hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. How is everybody? Today I'm going to be chatting about English, maths and science, like the main subjects that everyone's studying, so hopefully today's live will really help you. Yes, let me know if you are watching. Hello, hi. How is everyone? How's everyone's weeks been? There's another storm again. Like, there's always storms. What's up with all these storms? But yes. So, like I said, this week's live is going to be the best ways to revise English, science and maths. Now everybody does English, science and maths, so hopefully this live will be really good for a lot of you and really helpful. If you don't know who I am, hello, I'm Olivia Greenhalgh. I did my GCSEs last year, so I've got some knowledge to pass on and give to you. If you've got any questions about like anything, then make sure to leave a question. But yeah, this is half term. Is everyone else on half term? I'm on half term. I've got 2 weeks off for half term, which is really good. So I'm excited. Yes, tonight's quiz will be a chemistry quiz, so make sure to stick around for that. The chemistry quiz will be live at 8:30 until 9, and then again I'll be going through the answers and the questions at 9. I've also got the winner for last week's physics GCSE quiz, so I will be announcing that very shortly. And also there is a new feature this week in the MSc app. So there will be a monthly prize quiz for new users to take part in. I think this is available now on the MSc app. So if you go onto the MSc app, this will be available on the MSc app after the live. So hopefully sometime after this live finishes, there will be a brand new quiz that you can do in your own time, whenever you want to, and that will be like a monthly thing, so you can just go on, and yeah, if you win, then you win just like an extra little quiz. So it's not part of this live. There will still be the chemistry quiz, but there will also be another quiz as well. So that will be live shortly after this live stream ends. But yeah, I am going to announce the winner of last week's physics GCSE quiz. Okay, so the last week's physics GCSE quiz, 4 people got 7 out of 7, which is amazing. Those 4 people were, I'm really sorry if I pronounce these wrong, because these are really like random names, but those 4 people were Greta. I'm not even going to try that. Greta someone. Congratulations. These are just the people that got 7 out of 7. These aren't the people that won. I will be announcing the winner in a minute. I'm just going to spell these because I actually don't know. Phguan. Fagun. I don't know. I'm sorry. I literally don't know. Esosa._ and Amar_Seagal. I think you got 7 out of 7 last week as well. I recognise your name. Yeah, hopefully these names are being put in the comments because I don't know how to pronounce them. But the winner overall was Fagun. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm just going to spell it. Phguan. I'm really don't know how to pronounce it, but well done. I'm sure it'll be in the comments as well. I'm sure MSc will comment it. But yes, make sure to drop MSc a message on Instagram to claim your prize. And well done to the 4 people that also got 7 out of 7. I'm really sorry I couldn't pronounce your YouTube names. You need more easy YouTube names for me to pronounce because I'm really bad at pronouncing names, not gonna lie. But yes, well done. Yes, the winner's name is on the screen. That is great because I couldn't spell them. Love that. I mean, I couldn't say them. Love that for me. Let's have a look. Yeah, I will be chatting about maths, English and science, like I said tonight. So if you do have any questions about GCSEs in general, make sure to leave a comment. If you have any questions about those specific subjects as we're talking about them, then again leave a question and I'll be sure to answer them. Also, just a bit of more information to be giving you. Study with Liv next week is not on, so I will not be going live next Sunday. However, I will be back on the 1st of March with what to do leading up to an exam. So yes, on the 1st of March I will be back. We're taking a break next week. And then we have got on the 1st of March what to do in the weeks leading up to an exam. On the 8th of March we've got what to do the night before / the day of an exam. So yes, very, very, very exciting. Also, if you don't have the MSE app, make sure to download it. You can get it on Google Play or the App Store. There is links in the description box. But yes. Okay. How are you enjoying college, Liv? I'm really enjoying it, but it is so hardcore, like so intense, and yeah, sometimes it's really hard to like deal with, but we live and we learn. Like yeah, it's college, it's hard. But yeah, I'm home for 2 weeks, which is really good. I'm also learning to drive. I'm doing a 2-week crash course, which is kind of scary. I think I've got 5 or 6 driving lessons, but they're like 4 hours long, I think. 4 or 5 hours long. And yeah, that starts tomorrow. So I'm going to learn how to drive, which is great. Hopefully I pass my test. My test is on the 28th of Feb, which is exciting. Did you undergo a lot of stress during GCSEs? I feel like everybody gets stressed during GCSEs, and yeah, I definitely did undergo some stress, but I talked a lot about stress last week, so if you do want to check out that live, then make sure to go check it out. Again, there's links in the description box. Last week I got how to stress less, so I talked a lot about that, so if you do want to catch up on that, make sure to go catch up on it. Did you think college would be easier than it is, or were you prepared? I was kind of prepared, but I think unless you're in that environment, you never really know what's going to happen or what's going to go down or how it's going to be. But yeah, I do thoroughly enjoy it, but it's just really, really hard. Okay, I am going to start with English. So I am going to be talking about the best ways to revise English. Now, I'm really interested in what all you have to say. So obviously, if you're watching this live, then do leave in the comments things that you do to revise English. I am going to be going through them myself now. But yeah, let me know what you do to revise English. So we've got English language and English lit. Both of them, very similar things I did for both. But do definitely just leave a comment, like, what do you do? And it'll like help other people and also help yourself out if you can all share ideas. So yeah, I am going to start now with how I revised English, or like the best way to revise English. So English language and English lit, I revised in very similar ways. I'll start with what I did for both. So English in general, I used things like BBC Bitesize, Seneca Learning, Quizlet, practice papers. These are like a common theme throughout every subject I'm going to be talking about. So obviously BBC Bitesize, amazing, loads of information on it. There's also like little quizzes you can do. Seneca Learning, again, amazing. It's also free. You can get the premium version. Now, I wouldn't say the premium version is any better than the normal version. There are extra perks you can get, but I think if you've got a revision guide, you don't really need Seneca Premium. So I think the normal free Seneca is good. Quizlet, again, amazing. I used to use Quizlet for like, what's it called? For quotes and stuff and quotations, I use Quizlet. Practice papers, if you go onto the AQA website or whatever like your exam board is, I used to go into the AQA website, go into English and get past papers for language and lit. So practice papers, again, absolutely amazing, love them, literally use them all the time. My personal favourite revision guides were the CGP books. Now there are different ones you can get, but my favourite brand was CGP just because I really liked them. They also did the Scholastic ones. I really enjoyed those ones as well. They both had different but similar ideas within them. The things I enjoyed about revision guides for English was there was always like essays in the back of them, and you could see what kind of a grade 5 answer would be and what a grade 9 answer would be. So I would really recommend getting the revision guides. I literally don't know what I would have done without revision guides when it came to GCSEs. So basically, in the English language CGP revision guide, if you go to the back of it, in the back of it there is like a mock like language paper, and one of them is done for you. So you've got a language paper that is done for you, and it shows like grade 5 and grade 7, and then I think it also shows a grade 9 as well. All the revision guides are different, but it usually be like a grade 5 answer, a grade 7 and grade 9. And I used to really like comparing all three of them. So I'd be like, well, what is this grade 5 answer got that this grade 9 answer hasn't got? So I would look at it and compare it. And I think for language is so hard to revise. Like, trust me, I've been there, tried to do that. It's so hard to revise. But if you take a language grade 5 answer and you take a language grade 9 answer, you will realise that there's so much more detail in a grade 9 answer, and you can kind of see what you need to do to get there. You can then also compare a grade 5 or a grade 7 or a grade 7 or a grade 9, like depending on what the revision guide's got. But yeah, revision guides are really good for language, especially because you can compare them. Lit is also really good in the CGP books for the answers like that, because in Lit, so you might have an answer for Macbeth and it's like, how is Macbeth presented as a brave character? And there would be an essay already written for you, not a full essay, but part of an essay, and it would give you a quotation within the essay. So the essay might be like, Macbeth is presented as a brave character, blah 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 blah. This quotation suggests blah 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 blah, and you can literally take that, put it into your own words and use it in your own essays. So I think it's really good and gives you loads of ideas. It also gives you really good in words like this implies, this suggests, from this we can interpret, this makes the reader feel. It also gives you lots of context, like during the Shakespearean era the audience would have felt blah blah blah. This social context relates to Guy Fawkes. This social context relates to like kingship. Like, you can literally, there's so much information in those CGP books. I absolutely love revision guides. So I do think revision guides are really important when it comes to revising English. Another thing I really loved for English, I absolutely loved Mr. Bruff. Oh my gosh, he was literally the best. Like, he would go through so many things. So there was playlists on Macbeth, A Christmas Carol, Inspector Calls, Romeo and Juliet, all the poems, literally all 15 love and relationships poems, power and conflict poems, different exam boards, different, just literally everything. If you want to know something, watch Mr. Bruff on YouTube. I watched him religiously, literally watched all of his videos that were like important to me. So yeah, definitely check out Mr. Bruff. He's free as well, like a free like revision guide, revision source, revision resource. There was also another really good one which I can't think of off the top of my head. I've only just thought of it, but Mr. Bruff was the main person. If you do know any other really good English GCSE like YouTuber, then make sure to do leave it in the comments to like help other people out. I've got some other ones, but I'm gonna have a look what people are saying in the comments first. So let's have a look. Yeah, people are saying BBC skills wise or bite size. Seneca, yes, Seneca is so helpful. Love CGP books. I never tried Seneca, but would strongly recommend Quizlet. Yes, Quizlet is great. Also for English literature, practice writing essays in times conditions. This helped me get higher grades. Yes, that definitely to me. Get higher grades. Mr. Sellers, is that how you pronounce it? I think so. Yes, I used it as well. But definitely for English lit, I would recommend just write so many different essays. And the thing is, the more you write essays, the more you will realise that your quotations will work with whatever question comes up. So I always use Macbeth as an example just because that's what I did. But say you were doing Romeo and Juliet and a question came up saying, like, what is, I don't know, what was the question last year? I'm just going to use Macbeth because that's what I did. But Macbeth, a question might come up saying, how is Beth presented as a brave character? Or one question could be, how was Lady Macbeth presented within the play to represent like women's roles or rights or whatever. And as you can see, they're two completely different questions, but you could use the same quotes for both of them if you just reword it and you are really clever with how you word things. You just have to be clever. Like, the more you do past papers and the more you write essays, the more you will realize the links you can use. So definitely just write like essays. I know like you might hate writing essays. I used to hate writing essays, but I actually really enjoyed English lit ones because you learn something new every time. So definitely just write some essays, and write some stories for language. Do loads of language papers. What else have I got? Mind maps. Loved mind maps for English lit. I talked a lot about that when I did my live on mind maps, flashcards and past papers. So you can just write quotes on them on the mind maps and then explain the quotes. Love them. I think for English lit, it's all about learning quotes. For English language, there isn't really much you can revise and remember to take into the exam. But for English lit, you need to be remembering quotes, key themes, key characters, the plot of the story, what happens when. Because you might have a section of the play that comes up in Act 1, Scene 5, and you need to know what happens in Act 1, Scene 5. You need to know what happens in Act 2, Scene 4. Like, you need to know what happens in every single act and every single scene, because it's going to be so important. Because you might think Act 1, Scene 5, Banquo's already dead, or Act 1, Scene 5, no, Banquo's not dead yet, and that could literally impact your answer so much. So you need to know what comes when. Like, it's just basic things you need to know for English lit. Let's have a look. But yeah, write as many essays as you can, because it'll help you so much. It'll also help you remember the order of what comes when in the stories as well. Like, I know English lit can be so hard. You've got 15 poems, you've got like a Shakespearean text, and then you've also got a more like contemporary, I think it was, I don't know, text. So we did for instance, I had 15 poems, I had Macbeth, and I had Blood Brothers, and I had A Christmas Carol. So I had A Christmas Carol, Macbeth, Blood Brothers, and 15 poems. And I had to know so much about all of them. So you have to know what comes when, the characters, key themes, key quotes. And I know it can be really hard, but the more you do essays, the more you practice, the more you get it into your head, the easier it will be. Another key thing I would say for revising English lit would be watch the play or watch the film. So I watched A Christmas Carol over and over and over again. And you can't remember quotes from, say, A Christmas Carol, the film, because the quotes aren't the same as the book, but it does give you a gist of what comes when, and also helps you to visualize like the characters and everything like that. But don't write about the film. You need to remember to write about the book. I watched Blood Brothers on stage a few times, which is really good, as it is the same as the book, because the Blood Brothers book is basically the script. So watching it on stage really helped. So I really enjoyed that. Another thing for English as well, like I said, mind maps and flashcards, revision resources. You don't have to necessarily pay for them. I know some people don't have the money to keep going out and paying for revision resources and need something free. And there are so many different YouTubers that can give you those free resources. Like Bruff, and MSc has got like an MSc English channel. During the time of GCSEs last year, MSc had English teachers coming on to do live streams, and they could help you and give you that detail. Like, I could literally sit here and talk to you about Macbeth or A Christmas Carol or Blood Brothers, and that would be free information for everyone. There is so much out there that you don't have to pay for, like Seneca, mostly that is free. Quizlet, it's free. BBC Bitesize, it's free. So don't stress about having to pay for revision resources. Of course, like revision guides are amazing, and I would strongly recommend getting them. I think there are ways to get around not having them, and you don't necessarily have to pay for all of these revision resources because it is so expensive. Also, like, cheeky little plug, but I still have all my revision resources on my website, which is www.oliviagurnarts.com. All my like things that I used. So I've got things on Macbeth, Blood Brothers. I think there might be a Christmas Carol. Yeah, there is a Christmas Carol. Maybe Inspector Calls, not quite sure. I think there's 15 poems for love and relationships AQAs on there. I've also got sciences, so I've got biology, chemistry, physics, paper 1 and paper 2s. Revision resources, so if you do want to check those out, those are literally flashcards that I wrote, and there's just so much information on there that helps me get really high grades, especially for English. So if you do want to check that out, make sure to check that out. Again, cheeky little plug, but if it's there, it's there. I might as well tell you. And I know that is good quality revision, and it's not bad revision resources. Like, it's a really good revision resource, and I would recommend getting it, as it really did help me. But obviously you don't have to, but it just really helps me. So that's English. Let me know if you used anything that I haven't mentioned. Let me have a look. Yeah, most people are saying mathsings. Yeah, there's so many maths YouTubers. Mr. Bruff is a good person for English. Yeah, Mr. Bruff is like the main person to like check out. MSc has just released a video on like different revision resources, so make sure to go check that out as well. I watched it before and it's really, really good. I used most of the things that were said on there. What did you revise for English language? So I just revised the different questions they could ask you. So question 1, 2, 3 and 4 are always going to be of a similar style. So as long as you know what the mark scheme is asking you for, then that's a really good way to revise, looking at the mark scheme and the questions and saying, well, what do they want from me? So just revise the 4 questions. Mr. Bruff talks through them all. He does like a video on question 1, a video on question 2, a video on question 3, a video on question 4, and a video on question 5 for English language. So make sure to go check those out if you do want some help on those. But yeah, that's mostly it for English. I'm going to move on to science. So yes, talking about science, the chemistry quiz will be live at 8:30 in 7 minutes time. So make sure to do that, as that is a really good resource, a really good like way of revising as well. You got some quick questions on chemistry, so you better be getting those right if you're revising science. Okay, so moving on to science. Now, science, again, I've got really similar things to English. Obviously, I have extra things. Let me know if you watched any really good science people. Let me know what you found useful for science. But I'm going to be talking about what I found useful personally. So again, we've got BBC Bitesize, great. Seneca, great. Quizlet. Past papers, as always. I love a good past paper. So yeah, past papers, absolutely great. I think for science, I would say I used more YouTube for science, as I am a very visual learner. So I don't really like reading out of a textbook for science, as I just don't understand it. I understand science a lot more if I am looking at YouTubers and watching YouTubers. However, I did use some kind of like revision resources for science that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, practice papers for science are good. However, the questions literally change every single year. 1 year you've got an axolotl, 1 year you've got some carrots. So past papers are good for science, but they help you understand the questions. But for actual science content, you are better watching, say, YouTubers. So I loved Primrose Kitten for science, and also free science lessons. Yeah, people are commenting it. Free science lessons and Primrose Kitten, probably the best 2 YouTubers for science. So definitely check out those 2. I watched those videos all the time and made notes from the videos. CGP books and revision guides as well, really good. But like I said, I did really like the YouTubers. I think because science is such a difficult thing to get your head around, like you're thinking about atoms and electrolysis and like quantum physics and science and chemistry and everything like this. I think my favourite way to understand it was watching YouTubers and seeing all the visuals come to life and them explaining it to me. So I was so much better with them explaining it to me than me reading from a book, because I feel like if I sat there, and I had all the CGP books, if I sat there and like read from a book, I just didn't understand it. So that's why I really loved watching like Primrose Kitten or Free Science Lessons. Other good like websites are Tassamai. I never had it personally, but I know a few people that had it. You do have to pay for it, unfortunately, so it's whether you want to pay for it or not. And My GCSE Science is a good website as well. I think that's also a YouTube channel, My GCSE Science. My maths flashcards, like I said, all my science notes are on my website if you do want to check those out. I literally condensed a lot of information into small like sections, so they're all like small flashcards. And my maps, I think most of them are like 60 pages long, so if you do want to check those out, then check those out, as that's what I mostly used in the end. But yeah, Scientific Gain, I think English, science and maths, there are constant things that run through all of them. So you've got Bite Size that run through all of them, Seneca, Quizlet, past papers, revision guides, but then it's just different things that you can find. There's also a website called TES, T-E-S, and it's got loads and loads and loads and loads of free revision guides, free revision material, free worksheets, free like question and answers, like loads of free things. So make sure to check out that website as well. Let me see what all you are saying. Let's have a look. GCSE Pod. Yes, I completely forgot about GCSE Pod. I used GCSE Pod for English Lit and Science. Yes, GCSE Pod is really good. However, I also think you have to pay for that. So, yeah. Seneca is extremely helpful. Yes, it is. Yeah. The chemistry quiz will be live in 3 minutes as well, so that is a really good use of revision, so make sure to do that and get your little bit of revision in for today. The best revision material shop for me is Tiger. It's really affordable and really helpful. Oh, I never heard of that, but yeah. So yeah, science can be really hard, but as I said, I am a very visual learner, and if you are a visual learner or you really struggle with science, if you really struggle with science and you just don't know why and you don't know why you're struggling so much, just honestly use something like Primrose Kitten, watch one of her videos or watch Free Science Lessons, and see if you understand it. And if you understand it, it's probably because you are more of a visual learner and you need things explaining to you, which isn't a bad thing. Everyone learns completely differently, and I think that's what some people struggle to understand, is that everybody learns completely differently. So when I'm giving you these best ways to revise maths, best ways to revise English, best ways to revise science, I'm giving you so many different options, like CGP books all the way to YouTubers, because some people like to sit down with a revision book and read the revision book and write notes, but some people, it just doesn't work. They get bored, they're just uninterested, they can't be bothered reading it, or if they read it, they're just reading it for the sake of it and they don't understand it. That was like me. I would read it, but I would read it for the sake of it because I just wouldn't understand it. But if I went and watched, say, one of Free Science Lessons videos that are like 5 minute long to explain like one topic or like one certain part, I would literally understand it and I could make notes from that video. So definitely find out what works best for you. Try different things. If you're not understanding a revision guide, watch a video. If you're not understanding a video, go and read the revision guide and just figure out what works best. Amazon Prime is my best friend, lol. Literally me. I used to order all my CG books off Amazon and get it on Prime so it came the next day. Get the CGP workbooks as well. Yes, the CGP workbooks had questions to test you. So the chemistry quiz is now live, hopefully, so make sure to go and check that out. And yeah, you so yeah, go and do the chemistry quiz. It's really good for revision and everything like that. The quiz is live. You have half an hour. I'm now going to be talking about maths. So Maths, again, is one of those things that it can be really hard for some people. Some people really struggle to pass and get 4s, and some people can literally do it and get 8s and 9s all the time. I did struggle with maths. In my actual GCSE, I ended up getting a 6, which I was happy with, because maths just wasn't for me. I was very much an English lit kind of person, an RE kind of person. I was very much an essay kind of person. So when it came to things like maths, it just really wasn't for me. I struggled with it. But I've got some good ways of how I overcame that and how I got to get to pass and get a good pass. So yes, let me have a look at these comments. I love explaining science to my friends, as it means I'm helping them understand whilst making sure I know everything, especially because I'm more of a sciencey person and my friends prefer English. Yes, that is a really good idea. If you do struggle with maths, get someone to explain it to you, because at the end of the day, then they're revising and then you're also revising. I used to really like doing that with English Lit. So if you explain a quote to somebody, and you explain why the quote's relevant, you explain how it links to social context, you explain the English devices in it, then it helps you learn and it helps get it in your head. So that is a really good way of revising, actually. Oh, we have a 7 out of 7 already. People must be good at chemistry. I was rubbish at chemistry. I was always bad at chemistry. It was like my worst science. I really enjoyed biology, but chemistry, I just didn't understand. Okay, so maths. So like I said before, things like BBC Bitesize, Seneca, not really Quizlet for maths, didn't really use Quizlet for maths, CGP books, the Scholastic books, but my favourite things, or one of my favourite things for maths, was practice papers. So maths practice papers become your best friend, because there's so many common things that come up in all the papers, and I must have done 30-40 papers. I did so many papers. And the good thing about maths papers is, say you do a paper in January, by the time you come to do it again in April, you won't really remember it, so you can do that paper again. That's what I used to do anyway, as I literally didn't remember them. But then you're getting better at the questions and the answers. But you can find practice papers on the AQA website. So if you go onto AQA, click on GCSE Maths, then click on practice papers. You can do the ones all the way back from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. You've got the specimen papers you can do. You've got the November research you can do, and you've got the GCSEs in July you can do. So you've got so many papers you can be doing. I think, yeah, you can get them on the AQA website. You can also get them on the Edexcel website. I used to do Edexcel past papers as well. Even though it wasn't my exam board, there were still some good questions in it that you could do. So I think that's really good. Practice papers, literally best friends for maths. You need to do them. You need to just do them and do them and do them. Other good websites were My Maths. Now, my school paid for us to do My Maths. However, I do think you have to pay for it. MathsWatch, again, you have to pay for it, but I loved MathsWatch. Basically, it was a website, and your teacher would set you questions on it. So if you would like something like this, maybe speak to your maths department, because it is really good. But basically, on MathsWatch, your teacher could set you questions, whether that be on simultaneous equations, or whether that be on literally every single question that could possibly come up in your GCSE. So I remember at one point we had a MathsWatch with 500 questions on it, and you just sit, it'd ask you the question, you type in the answer, and it'd say there and then whether you got it right or wrong. And if you got it wrong, underneath all of the questions were videos explaining how to do similar questions. So they weren't videos explaining how to do that question. They were videos explaining how to do that question, but with, say, different numbers, or different things. So you could then watch the video, learn from it, and then do the question and see if you get it right or wrong. So MathsWatch was really good. Maths Made Easy has some really good revision material on it. Revisionmaths.com has some really good revision material on it. TES has some really good revision material on it. Just Maths has some really good revision material on it, and Mr. Barton Maths has some really good revision material on it. So The thing with maths is you can get revision material from anywhere. Like, you can literally just type into Google GCSE maths revision material and it'll come up. And that's the amazing thing, because maths is so broad. There's so many things you could be asked. So it's just really good to just keep repeating and repeating and repeating, doing questions and questions and questions. So I think the key thing when it comes to maths is repetition. So repetition of answers, repetition of doing simultaneous equations 100 times, do literally like square numbers, like learn all your square numbers, learn all the cube numbers, learn all the different formulas you have to know. Just keep learning formulas, keep repetition going, literally repeat. Know all the topics, just know all the different answers all the different questions they can ask you. So yeah, key thing with maths is repetition. Let me know like what you did to revise maths. I know there's so many different websites and things you could use. Those are just the things I used or things I found helpful or useful. But yeah, let me know how you revise maths. Like I said, the key thing when it comes to maths is repetition. And it might sound really boring, but repetition is the thing that is going to help you the most, because then when a question like that comes up in your exam, then you know it and you know what to do. So say if it was what's like a math topic, I don't even know, say simultaneous equations, like I've been saying. Say if you got a question on simultaneous equations and they just changed the numbers, you'd be like, oh, I've done a question like this before, I know how to do it, and then you could do it. Say if like the quadratic formula came up, you could be like, oh, I've done that before, and then you could do it because you've revised it so much and you know it inside out, you know what they could possibly ask you. Also, I said maths, don't stress about the end of a paper, because typically the end of the paper has questions that are harder. However, in these new GCSEs, they are kind of mixing up the hard questions, and they might put some questions on number 3 or number 4 of the paper and then easy ones at the end. So say if you're doing a maths practice paper or a maths GCSE paper and you get to question 1 and you're like, oh my god, I can't even do question 1. How am I meant to get through this paper? Well, let me tell you, they could have put a grade 9 question at the start of the paper to throw you. And then there might be really easy questions, say question 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then they get harder again. So what I would say is do the parts of a paper that you can do. So go through the paper and don't spend longer than 5 minutes on a question. If you're really stuck, leave it and come back to it at the end. So my teacher always told us that you only need just over or around 50% of a paper correct to get a 7. So that actually isn't that much if you think about it. Obviously grade boundaries depend every year, but that's typically what it is. So that's for AQA, by the way. I don't know what it is for every other exam board, but that's for AQA. So what I would say is just don't stress if you're not answering every single question, because you're not going to be able to. Some are going to be really hard. But say if you get really stuck on question 1, 2, 3, do the rest of them. Just think, okay, it's fine. They're just trying to throw me. Put those questions aside and get on with the rest of the paper. Don't let hard questions at the start of the paper throw you, because that's what they're there to do. They're there to throw you. But the clever people will think, no, it's fine. I know why those questions are there, because they want to throw me. So I'm going to carry on. I'm going to do the paper and just forget about those questions because they don't matter. So I think that's really important to remember when it comes to revising maths. Let's see what people are saying. My Maths, yes. Maths Watch, yes. Maths Genie, I never used that one, but if you've used it, then yeah, maybe it's good, so maybe check that one out. Maths Genie. My Maths, yeah. BBC Bite Size, yes. Chemistry isn't my strongest point. Don't worry, chemistry wasn't my strongest point either. Corbett Maths, I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, I'm so bad at names. But yes, that is a really good YouTube channel that I used, actually. I literally haven't learned half the content yet alone revised. It's fine, don't stress about it. We hadn't learned half the content for chemistry by this time last year. We were literally still on paper 1, so it's fine. It'll all come together, it'll all be fine. Just maybe like start revising. Maths is by far my favourite subject. I love it so much. We've already learned the specification and it's pretty fun, but circle theorems, oh my life. Yes, literally, circle theorems. Keep learning your circle theorems because I can guarantee they'll probably come up. Just keep going over them, keep learning them, watch YouTube videos about them. You'll be fine. On maths, yes, on maths, I forgot about that. On maths is also really, really good. It's like questions and answers again, so make sure to check out that one. My teacher always says read through the entire paper and do the easy questions. Yes, definitely. Yeah, just the thing with maths is, and English and science, is you're always going to have a strength and you're always going to have a weakness, and you shouldn't get annoyed or frustrated or stressed about the fact you can do, say, maths, but you can't do English. Like, I could always do English, but I couldn't do maths, so I had to constantly revise maths. Like, the amount of maths past papers I did, I used to say twice a night after school to revise maths. I used to do my maths questions, maths watch questions, just maths. I used to watch YouTube videos. I used to do so many past papers and I got a 6. And I'm not saying a 6 is bad, but for the amount of work I put in for English Lit, I put in the same amount of work for maths, but I got, say, an 8 in English Lit and I got a 6 in maths. And that's just because English Lit was my strength and maths was my weakness. So as long as you pass, then it's fine, you know. Like, you're always going to be disappointed with some of your results and you're always going to have strengths and you're always going to have weaknesses. Maths is just repetition, and as boring as that is, it is boring, but it is just repetition. And just think about it like this. It's what, February? So we've got the rest of February, we've got March, April, May. So you've literally got 3.5 months, if that. You've got 3 months, because GCSEs will probably start. In fact, you've got less than 3 months until your GCSEs start. So it's just around 3 months of doing that maths repetition. And I know that you might hate it. Like, I used to really dislike maths. And it was fine because I used to revise it, because you've only got 3 months. So if you do dislike maths, or you do dislike science, or you do dislike English, and you don't want to be doing it, but you have to do it, then just think, it's fine. You've only got 3 months left, and then you can forget about it and never do it ever again. But it is really important to keep revising and keep pushing yourself, because just keep thinking, it's fine, I've got a really long summer, I've got 3 months left to this, it's fine. Because yeah, GCSEs are really hard and really stressful, and you just have to push through those hard times. Just push through and you will get through it. I've just spent last half term doing my computer science coursework, and it's the most useless thing. Even it's worth 0% of the GCSE, but you have to do it. That's so annoying. You have to spend all that time doing something that isn't even worth anything. It'll probably help you, like, in the long run. It'll probably help you with your exam or something, so it might not be that useless. That chemistry quiz was very refreshing. We're doing organic at the moment at A level. Oh, I'm doing functional maths, functional skills maths, so it's basics I can guide with. Yes. Emily, it's okay. It's going okay, thanks. It's just stressful as I literally keep needing to remind myself I'm not on my GCSE summer. Yes, literally. You just get in such a... I think some weeks you can literally procrastinate all week and do 0 revision. And especially for me, like, some weeks I'd procrastinate and do nothing. And then some weeks I'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning, revise, come home from school, revise, go to sleep, wake up, revise, go to school, revise. So you just got to remember to not procrastinate and just get your revision done. And I know that sounds hard, and I know it is hard, but my last live last week was all about stressing less and revising better. So if you do want some tips on that, make sure to go check out last week's live. Also, if you haven't given this live stream a thumbs up, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up now, so I know that you're enjoying it. Yeah, give it a thumbs up while you're thinking about it, and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But yeah, so those are kind of the best ways to revise English, science, and maths. All the websites and everything I've talked about, if you do want to be reminded about what they are, you can just go back into the live and watch them and open tabs on your computer or write them down, so you can just know how to revise English, how to revise maths, how to revise science. Obviously, there's things like my maths flashcards, and past papers, which I talked about in episode 2 of Study with Liv. So if you do want to check that out, again, in the description box below, and I go through them all in detail. And episode 1, where I talked about how to make a revision timetable. If you are procrastinating and you aren't motivated and aren't getting anything done, make sure to go watch that, and I talk about how to make a revision timetable and the best way to make use of your time and actually get some revision done and not just watch Netflix all the time. So yeah, on the 1st of March, I will be talking about what to do in the weeks leading up to an exam. And on the 8th of March, I will be talking about what to do the night before / the day of an exam. So yeah, if you do have any other questions about what I've been talking about tonight, then do make sure to leave a comment and I will make sure to answer that. There is 13 minutes left before the quiz finishes, and I will go through the answers and questions. So yeah, make sure to get that quiz done. And again, do make sure to give this live a thumbs up if you are enjoying it. Let's have a look. I can't find a good template online for a revision timetable. Watch my first episode of Study with Liv, and I talk about revision timetables and how to make one and what to do. I don't know how I got through my programming project last year. It was to make a dice game, and our class had to give up our Friday lunch times to complete it. Oh, I literally, when I did drama, that sounds like when I did drama, I had to stay 3 times a week after school to do it, and lunch times. Drama took over my life. I was constantly in school. I had to go in some Sundays as well. So yeah, drama took so much of my time up. Did anyone not realise drama was so much theory? When I chose it, I didn't look into it that much, so I didn't realise how much theory there was. Yes, drama has a lot of theory. There's also a lot of practical though as well. So like I was saying, when I had my practical, I was in school, because you have to do a devising piece. I was in school 3 times a week after school, and also on a Sunday to get it done. So drama is actually a really, really, really heavy subject and takes up a lot of your time. Why can't time slow down? Literally, even I feel like that. You don't want someone to come quick. The thing is, I completely get that. You want time to slow down so you've got enough time to do everything, but then you want someone to come really quick so you can literally just do nothing. So it's kind of, it's like you want time to go quick and you also want it to go slow. Olivia, how was your Valentine's Day? My Valentine's Day was really, really good, thank you. I finished college. I was in college all day on Friday. And so you can bring all my stuff home, because I'm currently back home. It's so much gluten and dairy. I don't know, I'm gluten and dairy intolerant, and I'm gluten and dairy because I got nice food, but I'm currently ill because of it, so that's great. But it's fine, you know. It's fine. And yeah, we went shopping as well. We went into Milton Keynes, which is just like a massive shopping centre. So yeah, my Valentine's Day was good, thank you. Emily, I do, but I want time to slow down so I have longer to prepare for exams. Yes, that was literally me. You want time to slow down so you can revise, but you also want time to hurry up so you can just be done with GCSEs and get them out of your life. But then I feel like the thing is, there's so much hype around. I think the hype will kind of start in April, well, end of March, April, around GCSEs, and people are like, oh my god, we've got GCSEs in like a month and I haven't done any revision. This is like kind of bad. And then people are like stressing, revising. It gets to May, GCSEs start, all this hype, revising, adrenaline, and then it gets to June and it's like GCSEs, but like starting to slow down. Then it's like end of June, GCSEs no longer a thing, we've done them all. July, GCSEs, not a thing, not thinking about them. Then it gets to August and you're like, oh no, GCSE results day is a thing. GCSE results day is coming up, and then a few days before, or like a week or two before GCSE results day, it's like, oh my, we've got GCSE results day in like 1 week, and then it's like all the hype around that, and then it's results day, and then GCSEs are just forgotten about, and you go to college and you start A-levels, and then you're like, wow, A-levels are a thing, and I've got exams in 2 years' time. So it's like a never-ending cycle of stress. Oh, there's 3 people with 7 out of 7 on tonight's quiz. It started for me around March, as I realised it was Easter and then study leave and exams. Yes, literally. Mine started after the half term, yeah. I don't know, like doing GCSEs last year feels like so long ago, but I remember the stress like it was yesterday. Like, I remember it literally like it was yesterday. It was so mad. Right, you've got 8 minutes left to do the quiz. Very exciting. Let's see if any more people get 7 out of 7. I had study leave after the May half term. Yeah, I had study leave after the May half term too. So when I had study leave after May half term, I feel like that's when I mostly procrastinated, because I had study leave, and on my study leave, me and Liv would go shopping to Manchester. We'd go out for lunch every day. We'd watch Netflix. We binge watch so many like series on Netflix. So when it comes to study leave, make sure you actually revise. Obviously I did revise and I did do stuff and I wasn't doing nothing, but I think May is when you're at your like peak and you're doing all the revision and you're doing all the exams, and then it comes to June and you're just so tired and so like over, but you need to keep that. We have 1 more Friday. So. Meanwhile, great tip for people deciding A-levels: don't do English, as I had to restart my work as I put the wrong your, and there's so many terminology to remember, and literally I didn't take English A-level. I doing a musical theatre BTEC. So yeah. It's still the equivalent of 3 A-levels, so technically I'm still getting 3 A-levels. I really recommend Pomodoro technique for revision. Yes. So if you don't know, the Pomodoro technique is, say you revise for half an hour and then you take a 10, 15, 20-minute break. So say you do half an hour on, 15 minutes off. Half an hour on, 15 minutes off. So you do half an hour of revision, say English, then you take a 15-minute break, half an hour of maths, 15-minute break, half an hour of biology, 15-minute break. Is really good, and it's meant to be good for like your memory, because I think it's proven by science that you only remember things for up to a certain amount of time, and it's short bursts, so your brain remembers things better in short bursts. which is why the Pomodoro technique is going to be really good and beneficial. However, one thing I would say about the Pomodoro technique is that yes, it's really good for revision, but I also think it's really important to do, so say English Lit exam is in 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's a long time. 2 hours and 15 minutes to be doing an exam. You need concentration for 2 hours and 15 minutes. You need to be totally on it, because you will use that whole 2 hours and 15 minutes for English Lit, because there's so much to write about. So one thing I would recommend doing is every so often revise English Lit for 2 hours and 15 minutes, because that's how long your exam is going to be, and you need to train your brain to have that amount of concentration. So as much as the Pomodoro technique is beneficial and really good, I would also recommend revising for say 2 hours and 15 minutes for English Lit, an hour and 45 minutes for science. Like, get into the habit of revising for however long your exam is, because honestly it'll just get your brain into gear, and you'll understand how long you have to concentrate for in an exam. So yeah, I think that works quite well, because that's what I used to do. And yeah, my teachers always used to do that as well. So it's just logic, you know. Like, the Pomodoro technique is really good, but it's just logic to think, well, if my exam's going to be 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe I should try revising for 2 hours and 15 minutes to see if I can keep that concentration. Okay, so you have 3 minutes left to take the quiz. 3 minutes left. I made the mistake of revising for maths very last minute. My brain was frazzled. I wouldn't recommend. Yeah, I would not recommend revising for maths last minute, because there is so much to remember, literally so much. Try revising for maths like a good few months in advance. Apparently, if you chew gum revising and chew the same flavour gum in an exam, your brain remembers. Yeah, I heard that, but you can't chew gum in an exam, which doesn't really work. But I did hear that somewhere. And another two, if you were an unfamiliar sentence when revising, that's sending the exam as your brain remembers stuff that is linked to that sentence. Say if you spray perfume on your wrists and smell it when you're revising, if you smell it in the exam, it's meant to like trigger things in your brain. Don't know if it works, could be something to try out. My God, I remember messing up my English Lit exam. Luckily, coursework saved me. Oh, we didn't get any coursework in our English Lit, so it was literally all or nothing. If you messed up, you messed up. You didn't get a second chance. You have 2 minutes left to complete the quiz, and then I will be going through it. Yes. I've got so much coursework to do. Not even coursework, just like logbooks. I need to do my logbooks. I keep putting it off. Every time we get a new logbook to do, I always think, it's fine, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. And it gets to this sort of a new term, and I'm like, right, every time I have a lesson, I'm going to write in my logbook. But do I ever write in my logbook? No, I don't. And I leave it. And it's been 6 weeks. So I've got 6 weeks of logs to catch up on, which isn't fun. So yeah, I should probably do that. I really need to start doing that actually, but I just say I'm going to do it, and then I don't do it because I get home from college at like 7, and then I just want to be in bed and sleeping by 8. So I need to start keeping up with my logbooks. I remember when I finished my exam and I had 20 minutes left, I checked over my work 4 times, so I decided to just play with my pen, and I sneezed and accidentally threw it across the exam hall. Oh, that's so bad, because everyone would have just looked as well. That's quite funny though. Again, if you haven't given this live a thumbs up, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Spent so much time on the short essay and barely had time to do the longer mark-worthy essay, but my coursework managed to push my grades up by 2 grades. That's really good. At least like you tried and you ended up getting a good grade in the end. Oh, the quiz is now over. You cannot do it anymore, and I am going to go through the questions and the answers. What is a logbook? A logbook, you literally just have to record everything you're doing. So say we're doing devising for acting, we have to say, today I did blah, 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 blah. This will benefit me, blah, 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 blah. Things I need to do in the future, blah, 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 blah. but I need to do that for 6 weeks worth. The quiz is closed. Time for answers. Right, let's go. So, GCSE chemistry quiz, question 1. Question 1. Which of these is not a noble gas? Helium, neon, carbon, or argon? So which of these is not a noble gas? This is a really important question. This comes up all the time. And the correct answer is carbon. So if you got that right, congratulations. And if you didn't get that right, then make sure you start revising your noble gases and what comes where in the periodic table, because it's important. Question 2. Which type of bond is formed when atoms share electrons in order to achieve a full outer shell? Ionic, hydrogen, van der Waals, or covalent? So which type of bond is formed when atoms share electrons in order to achieve a full outer shell? This is really important because bonding comes up all the time. You've got different things like ionic bonding, covalent bonding. You need to know the differences and you need to be on it. So the correct option was covalent. If you didn't get that right, make sure to go over bonding so you get it right in your exam, as it's really important. So, question 3. Which word describes a chemical reaction in which energy is taken in? Again, all of these questions literally come up all the time in exams. I used to always get really confused with this question. So if you got it right, well done. So which word describes a chemical reaction in which energy is taken in? So we've got exothermic, endothermic, dynamic, or reversible, and the correct option is endothermic. And the reason I always remembered this is because so the reason you remember is endothermic is because it describes a chemical reaction in which energy is taken in, and if energy is taken out, then it'd be exothermic because it exits. So exothermic exits, which means endothermic could be taken in. So that's how I remembered it anyway. So well done if you got that right. Question 4. In a flame test, if the flame produced is lilac, what metal ion is presented? Potassium, sodium, lithium, or barium? I can't pronounce that word. I'm literally so bad with chemistry, like terminology. Yeah, somebody's commented it. Exo out, endo in. 70% of people got this one right. Well done. Question. So in a flame test, if the flame produced is lilac, what metal ion is present? What metal ion is present? The metal ion present is potassium. So yeah, hopefully you got that right. The potassium is the answer. Question number 5. Question number 5. How many carbon atoms does propane contain? 2, 3, 4, or 5? Let me know. Let me know when you've got it. Yes, somebody's commented the correct answer, and the correct answer is 3. Yes, 3. Question number 6. Which of these is defined as a substance which, when molten or in solution, will conduct an electric current? Electrolysis, electron, electrode, or electrolyte? Again, really important question. Comes up all the time. And the correct answer, let's see if anyone is commenting it. No, it is not electrolysis, unfortunately. shooting star. It isn't. Let's see if anyone else gets it right. Yes, somebody just commented electrolyte. 54% of people got this one too. Oh, interesting. So electrolyte, yes. And the final question, question 7. Which process is used to separate crude oil? Again, important question. So which process is used to separate crude oil? Let's see if anyone comments the correct answer. Hopefully you should get this one. Hopefully you should be getting this one right. The last question. Hopefully people do well on this one. Oh, yes. This one was easy. 83% of people got this one right. And yes, people are commenting it. Fractional distillation. Well done if you got that one right. So yeah, it seems as though everyone did quite well on that question. Well done if you got it right. So the worst answered questions were question 6 and 5. 5 and 6, were they? Yeah, it seems to be question 5 and 6. So you need to look at question 5 and 6 and make sure that you start revising what you didn't know, and you need to get it right for your actual GCSE exams. Just flexing my grade 9 knowledge. Yeah, literally. I was the 17% that put the wrong answer. Oops. Oh well, Emily, never mind. At least you know for next time. It's just like a learning tool. Like all these quizzes are just learning tools, and you just learn new things. Oh, you were one of 4 people. I got it wrong. Oh well. I mean, at least you'll know for next time. But anyway, yes, there will not be a Study with Liv next week, but we will be back on the 1st of March at 8 p.m. Sunday the 1st of March, 8 p.m. And I will be talking about what to do in the weeks leading up to an exam. So yeah, make sure you are back on the 1st of March. That's so mad. By the 1st of March, I literally might have passed my driving test. So I've got my driving test on the 28th of Feb. So that's kind of mad. So next time you see me, I might have a driving license. Who knows? If I have a driving license, that's kind of scary, you know. That is really scary. But yes, I will be back then, and the week after is what to do the night before / the day of an exam. If you do want to catch up on episode 1, 2 and 3, then the links are in the description box, so make sure to check out those as well, and make sure to give this live a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Follow MSc on Insta, and also make sure to download the app so you can join in the quiz next week if you haven't downloaded the app already, and make sure to check out the quiz that will be live very shortly as well. That is kind of like a monthly quiz, and you can also win a prize for getting all questions correct on that. So make sure to go and check out the quiz. It should be live very shortly up on MSc's app, just the same way as you do a quiz that goes live at 8:30, so that should be live shortly, so make sure to check that out. And yeah, I hope you all have an amazing 2 weeks. I will see you all very, very shortly for a brand new live, and yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.